What if something from another star entered our solar system and decided to stay? Picture this, a strange, mysterious object that doesn't belong in our corner of the universe. Not just any comet or asteroid, but a visitor from the depths of interstellar space. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before, a cosmic traveler that doesn't follow the expected rules of nature. It's a thought that sparks curiosity, doesn't it? Something that arrives out of nowhere, but refuses to leave, hanging around and puzzling scientists who are desperate to understand its true origin and purpose. This is where the story of 3I Atlas begins. In 2017, astronomers discovered something so unusual that it caught their attention like no other. It wasn't just another object passing through our solar system, as we've seen with asteroids and comets before. No, this object was different. It came from beyond our solar system, traveling across interstellar space, something that had never been observed before. It wasn't just any ordinary object either. Its journey, its speed, and even its very structure baffled experts. At first, astronomers thought it was a comet, but they quickly realized it didn't behave like one. It didn't follow the predictable paths that comets typically take. It sped up in ways that no natural object should, defying the basic principles of physics. Now, imagine for a moment you're a scientist, working tirelessly to understand the universe, and then you witness this strange behavior. The object is acting as if it's under some kind of force, moving in ways that challenge the very laws of motion and gravity we hold as foundational. This wasn't just a case of an unknown space rock. It was a mystery that seemed to demand an explanation, something that had never been seen before, and yet here it was, right before our eyes. A puzzle no one could solve. But here's where things get even more intriguing. This isn't just a story about science. This is a story about human curiosity, courage, and the willingness to question what we've always believed to be true. You see, while most astronomers were content with the idea that 3I Atlas was just a bizarre anomaly, one man in particular wasn't ready to let it go. Loeb, a Harvard professor and a respected scientist in his field, wasn't satisfied with the notion that this object was just another space rock. He believed something far more profound was at play. Loeb's theory was radical. He argued the 3I Atlas might not be a natural object at all. In fact, he suggested that it could be artificial. His hypothesis wasn't a random guess. He pointed to the strange acceleration of the object, the way it changed its speed as it moved through the solar system. Comets, after all, usually slow down as they move away from the sun due to the gravitational forces at play. But 3I Atlas didn't behave that way. Instead, it accelerated in a way that suggested something beyond natural forces, something that hinted at intelligent design. This theory opened a floodgate of possibilities. Could 3I Atlas be a signal from an alien civilization, a piece of technology sent across the stars? Was this object more than just a random rock? Was it a carefully constructed probe sent to observe or communicate with us? These questions had never been asked before, at least not in the context of a real-world discovery. And this is where the story becomes more than just science. It becomes about the courage to ask the questions that others are afraid to ask. It becomes about pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and seeking the truth, no matter how elusive or impossible it may seem. As we move deeper into this mystery, one thing is clear: 3I Atlas isn't just a passing anomaly. It's a visitor that may never leave our solar system. It's an object that challenges everything we thought we knew about the universe. And with Loeb's bold theory, it's an object that could change the course of human history. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this enigma and explore what could very well be the most extraordinary discovery in the history of space exploration. It was a typical day in October of 2017 when astronomers made a discovery that would go on to captivate the world and challenge everything we thought we knew about the universe. With their powerful telescopes aimed at the far reaches of the cosmos, scientists at the Pan-STARRS Panoramic Survey Telescope and Rapid Response System in Hawaii were scanning the skies for new objects, as they do on a regular basis. Little did they know, they were about to stumble upon something unlike anything they had ever seen before. An object that would soon be named 3I Atlas. The discovery of 3I Atlas, at first glance, seemed like any other. A bright speck of light, appearing to be a comet, was picked up on the telescope's sensors. The object's trajectory suggested it was coming from interstellar space, beyond the reach of our solar system. However, as astronomers took a closer look, they quickly realized that 3I Atlas was anything but ordinary. It wasn't just another comet that would flash by and fade away. It was a visitor from far beyond the boundaries of the stars we know. And it wasn't following the predictable path that we've come to expect from objects like comets or asteroids. The first clue that something was different came when they measured its speed. Typically, when comets or asteroids enter our solar system, they follow a particular path determined by the gravitational pull of the sun, but 3I Atlas was moving too fast to be caught by the sun's gravity, meaning that it should have just passed through our solar system and continued on its way, never to be seen again. However, it didn't. It slowed down in a way that no natural object should. It didn't follow the laws of motion that should have dictated its trajectory. Instead of continuing in a straight line or curving in a predictable way, 3I Atlas changed direction, a behavior that left scientists stunned and perplexed. Next, there was its brightness. Unlike other comets, which typically lose their brightness the farther they get from the sun, 3I Atlas remained unusually bright as it continued its journey. This, too, raised eyebrows. Was the object reflecting light in an unusual way, or was there something more at play here? Why wasn't it following the expected patterns we've seen in other space objects? These strange characteristics seemed to suggest that there was something unique about 3I Atlas that wasn't entirely explainable by the known laws of physics. As the astronomers continued to track 3I Atlas's path, it became clear that it wasn't like any comet or asteroid they had seen before. To put it into perspective, it's useful to look at a previous interstellar object that had also caused a stir, Oumuamua, discovered in 2017 as well. Oumuamua was the first confirmed interstellar object to pass through our solar system. It too baffled scientists with its unusual shape, erratic speed, and unexplained acceleration. It seemed to defy expectations, and for many, it marked the beginning of a new era of space exploration, the era where we began to think beyond the solar system. But even Oumuamua, with all its strange qualities, didn't behave quite the same way as 3I Atlas. The similarities between the two objects are clear. Both came from interstellar space. Both displayed unusual motion, and both left scientists wondering if they were witnessing something far beyond our current understanding of the universe. Yet, 3I Atlas presented an even bigger puzzle. Its strange acceleration, coupled with its unexplainable brightness, seemed to break every rule in the cosmic playbook, where Oumuamua's motions could be partly explained by natural forces. 3I Atlas didn't seem to adhere to any of the expected explanations for such an object. Something was clearly different this time. Scientists were left grappling with one big question. Why did 3I Atlas look and behave so differently from anything we had encountered before? Was it simply a cosmic anomaly, an outlier that didn't follow the rules? Or could it be something more? This question of why has continued to perplex astronomers, and despite their best efforts, they have yet to come up with a conclusive explanation. Where did it come from? Why did it change direction? Why didn't it behave like other objects that have traveled through our solar system? Adding to the mystery was the behavior of 3I Atlas after its initial encounter with the Sun. Normally, comets experience a tail or a coma, a bright, gaseous cloud of debris that forms when their ice melts in the warmth of the Sun. However, 3I Atlas didn't exhibit the typical behavior of a comet. It didn't have a visible tail, and it didn't emit the expected outgassing that would mark it as a comet. Instead, it seemed to be slowing down as it approached the inner part of the solar system. Further adding to the confusion, this mysterious deceleration, unlike anything seen in other objects, led to even more speculation. How could an object from interstellar space be affected by forces we don't yet understand? Could it be that 3I Atlas was interacting with something beyond the known forces of physics? Or was there another explanation, one that involved something entirely foreign to the study of space objects? Even more intriguing is the fact that no one can fully explain where 3I Atlas came from. It's not just that scientists haven't pinpointed its exact origins. They haven't been able to fully explain the physics behind its behavior. It didn't fit the model of a comet, asteroid, or any other known type of space object. It didn't fit into any of the expected categories. It wasn't just a space rock drifting through the void. It was a puzzle, an enigma in the sky that couldn't be solved. As astronomers continued to study 3I Atlas, they couldn't help but feel that they were witnessing something unprecedented, something that could have implications far beyond the understanding of space we have today. It's not just about a strange object passing through our solar system. It's about the possibility that the universe is much stranger, more mysterious, and far more complex than we could have ever imagined. And with 3I Atlas, that mystery is only just beginning to unfold. In the end, what we are left with is an object that seems to defy the basic rules of physics. An object that challenges our very understanding of the universe. It's a reminder that, no matter how much we learn, there will always be mysteries that remain beyond our grasp. And perhaps, just perhaps, 3I Atlas is a glimpse into the unknown, a cosmic riddle waiting to be solved. When 3I Atlas first entered our solar system, it quickly became the subject of intense scientific scrutiny. As with any strange and unexplained cosmic object, the initial reaction was to try and fit it into one of the known categories of space objects: comets, asteroids, icy debris, or perhaps a dust cloud. These are the building blocks of our solar system, the types of objects we've encountered before. But as astronomers and physicists examined 3I Atlas more closely, it became clear that none of these conventional theories fully explained the object's strange behavior. Let's begin with the most straightforward theory, that 3I Atlas is a comet. Comets are icy bodies that form in the outer reaches of the solar system. They are known for their spectacular tails, which form when the sun's heat causes the icy material in the comet to vaporize and release gas and dust into space. This creates the glowing, diffuse tail that is characteristic of comets. So, when 3IATLAS was first spotted, scientists naturally thought it could be a comet. However, there was a major problem with this theory. 3I Atlas didn't have the signature tail that most comets do. When comets travel closer to the sun, they usually exhibit a dramatic outgassing of material, forming a tail behind them as their ice sublimates into gas. Yet 3I Atlas showed no such behavior. No tail, no coma, nothing that would suggest it was a typical comet. This absence of a visible tail was the first major red flag. Then there was its unusual acceleration. Comets, as they approach the sun, experience a force that pulls them toward it, causing their speed to increase. But 3I Atlas wasn't following this expected pattern. Instead of simply accelerating and then slowing down once it passed the sun, it sped up in unexpected bursts, a behavior that no ordinary comet should be capable of. If it were a comet, this strange acceleration couldn't be explained by the simple physics of ice vaporizing in the sun's heat. It was as if there was something else influencing its movement. Next came the asteroid theory. Perhaps 3I Atlas was an asteroid, a rocky, metallic body from deep space that had somehow wandered into our solar system. But this theory also hit a roadblock when scientists examined its brightness. Typically, asteroids don't reflect enough sunlight to remain as bright as 3I Atlas did as it traveled away from the sun. It should have dimmed as it moved farther into the darkness of the solar system. Yet it didn't. This unnatural brightness only added to the mystery. And then there's the possibility that 3I Atlas is some kind of icy debris or dust cloud. It's true that objects like dust clouds can travel through space, but even these objects don't behave like 3I Atlas. Dust clouds, for example, usually have a diffuse, spread-out appearance, and they don't show any discernible acceleration. But 3I Atlas was compact, and its movement seemed too purposeful, too directed, to be explained away as just debris. This only deepened the puzzle. If it wasn't a comet, an asteroid, or debris, then what was it? As each of these conventional theories failed to fully explain the facts, one bold idea began to emerge, one that would make waves in the scientific community. Loeb, a renowned astrophysicist from Harvard University, suggested that 3I Atlas might not be a natural object at all. In fact, he proposed that it could be a piece of technology, perhaps an artificial probe sent from another civilization. His theory was as daring as it was controversial. What if 3I Atlas wasn't a space rock, but instead an interstellar message, a technological artifact sent by an advanced alien species? At first, many scientists scoffed at Loeb's suggestion. The idea of an alien probe was seen by some as outlandish, a theory that belonged in the realm of science fiction rather than serious scientific discourse. People laughed at Loeb, dismissing the notion that an alien civilization would be sending probes across the vastness of space. But despite the ridicule, Loeb stood firm in his belief that 3I Atlas's strange characteristics couldn't be explained by natural causes. Alone, Loeb pointed to the peculiar acceleration of the object, a phenomenon that no natural force seemed to account for. Unlike a comet or asteroid, which would slow down or follow predictable paths based on gravity and momentum, 3I Atlas exhibited bursts of speed and changes in direction that defied conventional understanding. Loeb argued that this unusual motion could be the result of something artificial. A probe or craft, he speculated, could have some form of propulsion or technology that allowed it to adjust its speed and trajectory. Even as it passed through the solar system, Loeb wasn't the only one to notice the strange behavior of 3I Atlas. Other scientists, too, began to calculate its path and examine the data. As they did, many of them started to notice anomalies in the object's movement that simply couldn't be explained by conventional models. Some astronomers, while not fully convinced by Loeb's theory, acknowledged that something about 3I Atlas didn't quite add up. Its unexplained acceleration and unusual trajectory were unlike anything they had seen before. It was almost as if the object had been engineered to behave this way. As the conversation continued to unfold, the idea that 3I Atlas might be artificial started to gain traction, even among those who had initially dismissed Loeb's hypothesis. The idea that the object could be a piece of alien technology was still controversial, but it was becoming increasingly clear that no one could fully explain what 3I Atlas was, at least not with the current understanding of physics and space objects. The possibility that 31ATLAS was not a natural object raised an intriguing question. If it was artificial, why was it here? What purpose did it serve? If it was indeed a probe or some kind of technology, could it be a message from an advanced civilization sent across the stars to observe us? Or could it be something even more profound, a glimpse into the future, a technology that is far beyond our current understanding? As Avi Loeb continued to advocate for his theory, the suspense only grew. What if he was right? What if 3I Atlas wasn't just an anomaly, but a deliberate, intentional object placed in our solar system by an advanced alien species? What if this strange visitor wasn't leaving because it was never meant to? What if it's still here, waiting for humanity to unlock its mysteries, to understand its true purpose? The idea that 3I Atlas is artificial, a product of alien intelligence, might seem far-fetched to some, but as the evidence mounted, it couldn't be completely dismissed. The object's strange acceleration, its unexplainable brightness, and its lack of typical comet or asteroid characteristics all pointed to something beyond the ordinary. It was as if the universe was daring us to think bigger, to look beyond the stars, and consider that we might not be alone in the vastness of space. As we continue to study 3I Atlas, one thing is certain: this mystery is far from solved. It may be years, or even decades, before we fully understand what 3I Atlas truly is. But for now, the question lingers. Is it a natural space rock, or could it be something much more? Something that was never meant to leave our solar system. When Avi Loeb first presented his theory about 3I Atlas, he wasn't just making a wild guess. He was diving deep into the data, the math, and the principles of physics to explain why he thought this object might not be a fleeting visitor. In fact, Loeb's bold idea suggests that 3I Atlas could very well be trapped in our solar system, not just passing through, but staying forever. To understand why Loeb believes this, we need to look at the science behind it, starting with a concept that sounds more like something from science fiction than hard science. Gravitational capture. What is gravitational capture? Gravitational capture is a concept from physics that explains how objects in space can be caught by a planet, star, or other celestial body's gravity and become permanently trapped in its gravitational field. When an object enters a star system, it's typically moving fast enough that it would fly right past the star, just like a comet or asteroid would. However, sometimes, if certain conditions are right, the object can be slowed down enough by the star's gravity to become trapped in its orbit. Instead of continuing on its path out of the solar system, it becomes gravitationally bound to the star, like a planet or moon that revolves around it. For most objects in space, this process is rare. Usually, comets, asteroids, and other objects are moving fast enough that they don't get caught in the sun's gravity. They pass through the solar system only to continue their journey into deep space. However, this is where 3IATLAS stands apart from all the rest. As Loeb and other scientists carefully studied the data and trajectory of 3I Atlas, they noticed something peculiar. Despite its high speed, this object wasn't behaving like other objects that passed through our solar system. It wasn't just passing by, it seemed to be slowly getting trapped by the sun's gravitational field. When Loeb and his colleagues studied 3IATLAS's orbit, they noticed signs that couldn't be ignored. Objects that are merely passing through our solar system typically follow a very specific type of orbit. They come in at a steep angle, speed up as they near the sun, and then zoom out of the solar system at an equally steep angle, gaining speed as they go. But 3I Atlas didn't quite fit this pattern. Instead of the object following a typical hyperbolic trajectory, the kind that suggests it's just passing through, its path seemed to be bending. This slight change in its trajectory hinted that the object was slowing down and getting pulled into a stable orbit. It was as if the sun's gravity was starting to take hold of it, pulling it into a path that wasn't just a passing fluke, but one that might keep it locked inside the solar system. Loeb's theory suggested that the object might not have been moving fast enough to escape the sun's gravity altogether, while it had been on a trajectory that would have carried it out of the solar system. The sun's gravity was subtly affecting its path, pulling it in, almost like a fisherman casting a net to catch a fish. The more Loeb and other scientists observed, the clearer it became. 3IATLAS was becoming increasingly trapped by the sun's gravitational pull. The implication of this was huge. If 3I Atlas had been captured by the sun's gravity, that would mean it wasn't just a visitor passing through our solar system. It would mean the object could be stuck here permanently. It wasn't just an anomaly. It could be a permanent fixture in our cosmic neighborhood. And that's where things got even more intriguing for R.V. Loeb. This idea of an object becoming trapped by the sun's gravity was just the beginning of a much bigger theory. He believed that 3I Atlas might not be a natural space rock at all, but rather a piece of alien technology, a probe or artifact sent by an ancient civilization. This wasn't the stuff of science fiction, Loeb argued. It was a real possibility. Loeb's theory wasn't based on a mere hunch. He had seen enough unusual behaviors in the object's movement to suggest that something beyond natural forces was at play. Objects like comets and asteroids typically don't exhibit strange accelerations, unless there is some external force acting on them. Loeb pointed out that the way 3I Atlas accelerated as it moved through our solar system in ways that could not be explained by typical outgassing or gravitational forces suggested that there was something more to the object. It was as if it was a piece of technology designed to move in certain ways, with some kind of propulsion or force keeping it under control. Imagine, Loeb proposed, an ancient civilization, perhaps millions of years old, that had developed technology so advanced that they could send probes across the stars. These probes could travel through space for eons, using advanced techniques that we don't yet understand to navigate the vast distances between star systems. If 3IATLAS were one of these probes, it could have been sent to explore our solar system, or even to observe Earth, eons ago. Now, as 3I, Atlas, was captured by the Sun, it could have remained here, waiting for the day when humanity would finally notice it, when we would look up and see the mysterious object, ready to reveal its true purpose. Loeb wasn't just speculating without evidence. He, along with other scientists, used the data from telescopes and mathematical models to study 3IATLAS's behavior. As they analyzed its speed, trajectory, and acceleration, the patterns didn't fit with anything they had seen before. It didn't conform to the known behaviors of comets, asteroids, or any other natural space objects. Loeb argued that the strange acceleration of the object couldn't be explained by conventional physics. The object was behaving in a way that pointed to some unknown force or technology. The way it sped up and changed direction inexplicably raised serious questions. Why wasn't it following the laws of motion that we understand? If this was simply a comet or asteroid, it should have slowed down as it moved away from the Sun, not sped up. And yet, it didn't. This anomaly, Loeb suggested, could be a sign that 3I Atlas wasn't a natural object. It could be an alien probe, designed to move in ways that would be impossible for us to understand with our current knowledge of physics. The data, the math, pointed to something far more mysterious than we could comprehend. The object's motion didn't follow any conventional path, and it was becoming increasingly clear that whatever 3IATLAS was, it was something that challenged our understanding of the universe. One of Loeb's most compelling arguments is that science must remain open to strange ideas, even when they are uncomfortable or hard to believe. The history of science is filled with moments where new discoveries seemed impossible or ludicrous at first, only to be later proven true. Loeb believes that in the case of 3IATLAS, we need to allow ourselves to entertain the possibility that this object is not just an anomaly, it's a message from the stars, or a piece of technology left behind by an advanced civilization. This idea is unsettling for some, but Loeb insists that science thrives on being willing to explore the unknown. If we close ourselves off from ideas simply because they don't fit with what we currently understand, we might miss out on the opportunity to make one of the most important discoveries in history. And the data from 3IATLAS, Loeb argues, shows that there is something strange happening, something that cannot be fully explained by our current models. As we look at all the data and the strange behaviors of 3IATLAS, one question stands out above all the others. If 3I Atlas is still here, then maybe it's here for a reason. Could it be that it was never meant to leave? Could it be that the object was designed to remain in our solar system, to be discovered by humanity at just the right moment in time? The idea that 3I Atlas is an alien probe, a piece of ancient technology, is unsettling, but also fascinating. If Loeb's theory is correct, then we might be witnessing the first real evidence of an extraterrestrial civilization that has reached across the stars, sending a message or a probe to our solar system. And if that's true, then we are just at the beginning of what could be an extraordinary journey of discovery. If 3I Atlas is here for a reason, what might that reason be? What could it be trying to tell us? And what will humanity do once we finally understand its true purpose? Imagine for a moment that 3IATLAS, the mysterious object from beyond our solar system, is not just passing through. What if, Instead of being a fleeting visitor, it is here to stay. What would that mean for us, for science, for humanity, and for our understanding of the universe? The idea that a cosmic visitor from another star might remain forever in our solar system is more than just a curiosity. It's a thought that could change the course of human history and revolutionize our place in the cosmos. The concept of a permanent, otherworldly object in our solar system raises fundamental questions about what it means to be human, to exist in a vast universe full of unknowns. If 3IATLAS never leaves, what does it signify about our reality and the cosmos around us? One of the most intriguing possibilities is the idea that 3I Atlas could be a silent alien probe, a piece of technology sent from a distant civilization to observe us. If it truly is artificial, as Loeb speculates, then what if its purpose was to quietly observe Earth, watching us without interference? This would mean that an advanced alien civilization, one far beyond our own, had already found us. And instead of announcing its presence with grand gestures, it chose to send a probe, one that blends into the background of the cosmos, silently recording and observing our existence. The thought of being watched by an extraterrestrial entity, without even realizing it, could be both thrilling and unsettling. It suggests that we might not be as alone in the universe as we've always assumed. Imagine the implications. If 3I Atlas is here for observation, what does it know about us? What does it see? How does it understand humanity, our cultures, our advances, and our struggles? The prospect of a silent observer could alter how we perceive our role in the universe. We may be living under the gaze of an alien civilization that is far more advanced than we are, one that might be waiting for us to evolve to a point where we're ready to make contact. But what if, on the other hand, 3IATLAS is not a probe at all, but simply a lost traveler, a cosmic wanderer that somehow got caught in our solar system? If it's just a fluke, an object that wandered into our neighborhood and got stuck, then it would still raise profound questions about the nature of the universe. The universe is vast, and the idea that something from another star could get trapped in our solar system suggests that we are not the only ones navigating this vast cosmic ocean. 3.1 whether it's a probe or a lost traveler, hints at a reality where interstellar travel and the existence of alien technologies might be more plausible than we've ever considered before. The idea of 3.1 as staying forever in our solar system would have a profound impact on science. For one, it would force us to rethink everything we know about space objects. Science has always been based on patterns and predictability. Comets, asteroids, and other space objects typically follow known paths, and we can predict where they will go and when. But 3I Atlas doesn't fit into that mold. Its erratic behavior, its acceleration, and its lack of typical characteristics challenge the very foundation of astrophysics. If 3I Atlas is indeed an alien artifact, or if it is defying natural forces, it would force scientists to reconsider basic principles about gravity, motion, and even the nature of intelligence in the cosmos. The study of 3I Atlas could be the beginning of an entirely new branch of science, one that explores the potential for extraterrestrial technologies and alien civilizations. Moreover, such a discovery would ignite debates about our place in the universe. It would raise questions about the likelihood of other civilizations out there, and whether they have been watching us all along. What would it mean for our understanding of our solar system if we had to share it with an object that didn't belong here? The study of 3I ATLAS could reveal clues that we have missed, unlocking new doors to understanding our place in the greater cosmos. The discovery of a permanent alien object, particularly one that suggests advanced technology, would also challenge religion and philosophy. For centuries, humanity has grappled with the question of whether we are alone in the universe. Most religions have focused on the idea of humanity's unique position in God's creation, with Earth as the center of existence. But what happens to these beliefs if we are no longer the center of the universe? If 3I Atlas is a probe, an artifact from another star, then it suggests that we are not unique, that life beyond Earth exists, and that humanity is just one small part of a much larger cosmic story. Philosophically, the discovery could challenge our understanding of life itself. Are we the only intelligent beings in the universe, or are there other civilizations out there watching us from afar? The presence of 3I Atlas could be a stark reminder that our understanding of existence is incomplete, that the mysteries of the universe are vast, and that our perceptions of reality are limited. The existential questions that would arise from such a discovery would be profound, forcing us to reconsider everything we know about ourselves and our place in the cosmos as humanity faces the possibility of being watched by an advanced civilization. We will inevitably feel both fear and excitement. The unknown is a powerful force. For some, the idea of an alien presence in our solar system could be terrifying. What if the object is not benign? What if it's a sign of something much bigger and far more dangerous? A warning of an impending invasion, or a harbinger of a new era of contact? The fear of the unknown is natural. It's the same fear that has accompanied every major scientific discovery throughout history, from the first telescopic observation of distant stars to the idea of exploring the unknown depths of space. But along with fear comes excitement. The possibility that we are not alone, that the universe is teeming with life, sparks a sense of wonder and excitement that has driven humanity's greatest discoveries. If 3I Atlas is a sign that extraterrestrial civilizations have reached out to us, it would be the greatest discovery in history. The idea that we might one day communicate with beings from another star system, learn from their technologies, and exchange knowledge and ideas is both thrilling and humbling. One of the most important lessons that comes with the discovery of something like 3I ATLAS is that sometimes the greatest discoveries don't give answers. They raise even more questions. In science, we often expect discoveries to bring clarity, to solve mysteries and give us the truth. But sometimes the answers are elusive, and what we thought we knew turns out to be only a small piece of a much larger puzzle. If 3I Atlas is truly a probe, or if it is something that challenges everything we know about the cosmos, it might not give us the answers we seek. Instead, it will open up new questions. What is its true purpose? Why was it sent here? Is it a sign of life beyond Earth, or is it a relic of a long-lost civilization? The presence of 3I Atlas, no matter what it turns out to be, will force us to rethink our place in the universe and challenge our assumptions about the nature of life, intelligence, and existence itself. As we consider the possibility that 3I Atlas might stay forever, the question remains: are we truly alone in the universe? Perhaps the answer is no. Maybe the universe is already watching us. Maybe we are already part of a larger story that we've only just begun to understand. If 3I Atlas is a silent observer, a probe sent by an ancient civilization, or just a cosmic wanderer caught in the sun's gravity. It opens up a world of possibilities. We might be on the brink of discovering something that will change everything, not just about space, but about who we are and where we fit into the grand cosmic tapestry in the end. The discovery of 3IATLAS is more than just a mystery about a strange object in space. It's a question about life, existence, and the unknown. And perhaps the greatest consequence of all is that, whether we are ready or not, we are about to embark on a journey that could reshape the future of humanity forever. When Loeb introduced his theory about 3IATLAS, he didn't just present a new scientific idea, he set off a debate that would split the scientific community, spark heated social media discussions, and ignite a firestorm of opinions from journalists, scientists, and ordinary people. His hypothesis, that 3I Atlas could be an alien probe, rather than just a natural object, was nothing short of controversial. Some hailed him as a visionary, daring to challenge the scientific establishment, while others called him reckless, too bold, and even unscientific. The debate surrounding Loeb's theory wasn't just about space objects or advanced technology. It was about the way we approach knowledge, science, and the unknown. Loeb's ideas resonated with many who saw him as a brave and innovative thinker. To them, 3I Atlas was a symbol of the unknown, and Loeb's willingness to explore unconventional theories was seen as a refreshing break from the often conservative, cautious nature of scientific inquiry. For these supporters, Loeb's stance represented the spirit of exploration, the very essence of what science is about: questioning, exploring, and challenging what we think we know. Many in the scientific community, particularly those with a background in astrophysics, saw Loeb's theory as a bold call to action. To them, Loeb wasn't just speculating wildly. He was pushing the boundaries of what was possible in space science. He was suggesting that we might be at the cusp of a new era, one where humanity's search for extraterrestrial intelligence could move from the realm of science fiction to science fact. Some of his supporters pointed out that we had never before had the opportunity to study an object from interstellar space so closely. If 3IATLAS was indeed a probe, it could be one of the most important discoveries in the history of space exploration. Loeb's supporters pointed to his scientific rigor. His analysis of the object's trajectory, speed, and unusual acceleration were grounded in data, not conjecture. He wasn't just pulling ideas out of thin air. He was looking at the facts and proposing an interpretation that no one else had dared to consider. For these advocates, Loeb wasn't a dreamer or a fantasist. He was a visionary, someone who was willing to entertain the possibility that there might be more to the universe than we can comprehend. On the other hand, Loeb's critics viewed his theory with skepticism and even disdain. To them, Loeb's suggestion that 3I Atlas might be an alien probe was nothing more than wishful thinking and a gross overstep of scientific methodology. Many scientists and researchers felt that Loeb was indulging in speculation without proper evidence, jumping to conclusions without thoroughly testing his hypothesis. Some of the sharpest criticism came from within the scientific community. These critics argued that Loeb was stepping outside the bounds of established scientific practice, where ideas must be tested, verified, and proven through rigorous experimentation and peer review. They pointed out that Loeb was focusing on the idea of an alien probe not because there was solid evidence to support it, but because it was an exciting, headline-grabbing notion that could attract attention and media coverage. For them, Loeb's theory was a distraction from the real work that needed to be done, studying the object scientifically and understanding its natural properties before jumping to fantastical conclusions. Others took issue with the way Loeb communicated his theory. While some were willing to entertain the idea that 3I Atlas might have unusual properties, many felt that Loeb was using media outlets to promote a theory that wasn't based on enough concrete data. Some argued that Loeb was overstepping the cautious and disciplined nature of science, making bold claims without sufficient proof. To them, Loeb's theory was more about sensationalism than it was about scientific progress. When Loeb first put his theory into the public sphere, it quickly caught fire on social media. Social media debates surrounding his ideas ranged from spirited support to harsh criticism, and it was clear that the topic of 3I Atlas had struck a chord with both scientists and the general public. Online discussions went viral, with thousands of people weighing in on the possibility of alien life and the implications of Loeb's theory. Supporters took to Twitter, Reddit, and other online forums to champion Loeb's ideas, arguing that it was time to think outside the box and entertain the idea that we might not be alone in the universe. Hashtags like #3iAtlas, #AlienProbe, and #AviLoeb began to trend, and countless blog posts, YouTube videos, and podcasts delved into Loeb's theory, exploring the possibility of alien life and technological artifacts from distant stars. Many in the online community saw Loeb as a hero, a scientist who was daring enough to challenge the status quo and offer a bold new perspective on the universe. On the flip side, Loeb's critics also found a platform on social media. There were heated debates between those who thought he was out of his depth and those who believed that he was dangerously misleading the public. Some social media users accused Loeb of trying to turn a scientific mystery into a media circus, pointing to his interviews, books, and public appearances as evidence that he was more interested in fame than facts. Others simply dismissed his theory as an absurd attempt to make a name for himself in a field that had already seen its fair share of outlandish ideas. Yet, as the debate unfolded, it became clear that the discussion was serving a larger purpose. The viral nature of the controversy was bringing attention to the topic of extraterrestrial life and interstellar objects, sparking curiosity and debate among millions of people who had never considered these questions before. Whether they supported Loeb or disagreed with him, everyone was talking about the possibility that 3I Atlas could be more than just a rock from space. It was forcing people to think about life beyond Earth, and that, in itself, was groundbreaking. The division between supporters and critics of Loeb's theory is a reminder that science doesn't always move forward through agreement. In fact, it often moves forward through argument and debate. History is full of examples where major scientific advances were met with resistance, only to later be accepted as truth. The heliocentric model of the solar system, for example, was fiercely opposed when it was first proposed by Copernicus, but today it's universally accepted. The same can be said for many groundbreaking theories. From Darwin's theory of evolution to Einstein's theory of relativity, the debate surrounding 3I Atlas, whether it ends in agreement or not, is pushing the boundaries of what we know. Loeb's critics might believe he's gone too far, but by challenging the scientific establishment, he's forcing the scientific community to confront the limitations of their thinking. He's challenging scientists to reconsider their assumptions about space, physics, and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. whether or not Loeb's theory turns out to be correct. The discussion itself is valuable because it encourages new ideas, questions, and approaches to the universe. Loeb, for his part, remains steadfast in his defense of his ideas. "We can't learn if we don't look," he said in one of his many public interviews. This phrase became a mantra for his supporters, who saw it as a call to action for humanity to be open to the unknown, to entertain ideas that might seem unconventional, but could ultimately lead to new discoveries. Loeb's belief that science should always be open to new possibilities, even the most uncomfortable ones, is what makes him both a controversial and courageous figure as the debate continues. One thing is clear: 3I Atlas didn't just challenge science, it challenged belief. For those who believed that science should always follow established rules and stay within the boundaries of what's currently possible, Loeb's theory was an affront to the scientific method. For others, Loeb's willingness to entertain bold, unorthodox ideas represented the essence of true scientific exploration. In the end, the debate over 3I reflects the broader tension in science between innovation and tradition, between the desire to understand the unknown and the desire to cling to the known. It's a reminder that science is not just about finding answers. It's about asking the right questions, even if those questions challenge everything we think we know. Maybe, in the case of 3I it's not just about an alien probe or a cosmic anomaly. Maybe it's about the courage to look at the stars, to question the universe, and to confront the uncomfortable truth that we might not be alone as we bring this journey to a close. It's important to remember that 3I the mysterious visitor from the far reaches of space, continues its silent path through our solar system. Its secrets, still untouched, are hidden from us, locked in the vastness of the cosmos, moving slowly, almost imperceptibly, through the deep black of space. It seems to watch us from a distance. A visitor whose purpose remains unclear, whose origin is unknown, and whose future path is a quiet mystery that we are still trying to understand. But in that silence, there is a profound message, one that challenges us to look beyond what we know, to ask the questions that stir our curiosity, and to never stop seeking the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. 3I Atlas isn't just an object in space. It's a reminder that the universe is filled with mysteries that we may never fully comprehend, that there are things far beyond our reach, both in space and in knowledge. And yet, despite its silence, 3IATLAS is speaking to us in ways we can't ignore. It asks us to confront the vast unknowns of existence, to embrace the curiosity that drives us, and to explore the uncharted territories that lie beyond the stars. Humans, as a species, have always been afraid of what they cannot explain. From the earliest days of civilization, we have looked to the sky with awe and fear, wondering about the forces that shaped our world. Ancient peoples feared the night sky, thinking of it as a place of gods and unknown forces. And even today, with all our knowledge and advancements, we still look up and wonder about the things we cannot yet grasp. The universe, with its endless expanse, has always held a sense of mystery and wonder, often provoking both fear and fascination in equal measure. But fear of the unknown has never stopped us. Instead, it has driven us to explore, to question, and to seek out answers. That is the essence of what makes us human, our curiosity. From the first steps of early explorers who crossed oceans to the scientists who now peer into the stars, Humanity's greatest power has always been its willingness to face the unknown. 31AT-LAS is no different. It may be silent, its purpose may be unclear, but it reminds us that there is still so much to discover, so much we don't yet know. Loeb, with his bold theory, has brought to light an idea that many of us would prefer to ignore. The universe may not be as predictable as we want it to be. As Loeb himself has said, we can't learn if we don't look. We must never close our eyes to the mysteries that surround us. The true path of science, he argues, is paved not just by the facts we understand, but by the questions we are brave enough to ask. And 3IATLAS is one of those questions. When Loeb first presented his hypothesis, he wasn't just suggesting that we might have discovered an alien probe. He was challenging the very way we approach knowledge. He was urging humanity to open its eyes, to think beyond the familiar, and to embrace the unknown. For many, this was a radical idea. For others, it was the spark of inspiration they had been waiting for. But for all of us, it is a reminder that curiosity is not just something we do. It is what we are. It is the force that pushes us forward, even when the answers are far out of reach. So, as 3I Atlas moves quietly through our solar system, its secrets still hidden in the silence of space, let it remind us of the boundless curiosity that defines us as human beings. Let it challenge us to look deeper into the stars, to explore the questions that lie ahead, and to never stop wondering about the mysteries that might one day change everything we know in the grand scheme of the universe. 3I Atlas may be just another object drifting through the endless expanse, but to us it is much more. It is a challenge to think bigger, to embrace the unknown, and to seek the answers that might be hiding right in front of us. Maybe 3I Atlas came from the stars, and maybe it stayed to remind us that curiosity is the greatest human power, the one thing that can propel us into the future. Maybe it will never leave our solar system, and maybe, just maybe, we were never meant to ignore it. Final line, it may never leave our solar system, and maybe, just maybe, we were never meant to ignore it.